I'm going to interview today is a YouTuber, is an entrepreneur. The guy came in with 100,000 subs. Where the hell did this guy come from? His name is Nikki Blade. We'll be talking to him today on the Armchair MBA. So before we start, welcome to the Armchair MBA, everybody. Just a quick announcement. It's been long overdue. I want to announce the Armchair MBA store. We have hats, mugs, everything else, merch for yourself, for friends, family, etc. Open the Armchair MBA store. Check it out. All proceeds are going to, and I'll let the cat out of the bag, is I'm looking for a studio. We're going to get a building with a studio, and stay tuned because all proceeds are going to go for that. Without further ado, we have a very special guest today. His name is Nikki Blade. He's a YouTuber. He's an entrepreneur. He may be a hacker. We'll find out about that. Nikki Blade, welcome to the Armchair MBA. How are you doing today, buddy?
Good, good. Thanks for having me on, Tom. Appreciate it, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for coming. So we're doing a live today. Questions, everybody, as you guys kind of shuffle in. Save the questions to the end, because I want to do an engaging conversation, and then we'll take some questions. So we're going to jump right in, Nikki. You're kind of a little bit of a mystery, right? Let's demystify. Give us your formative years. Where did you grow up, and kind of what made you you?
I grew up in Southern California. I'm Cuban, Cuban American, right? My whole family was born in Cuba except me, my brother, my sister.
Okay.
We were born in LA, California. So I grew up most of my years in California. I live in Miami now, but I go back and forth. And yeah, it's pretty much. Were
you a good kid, bad kid? Did you get in trouble? Talk us a little bit about that.
So yeah, I was a pretty bad kid, man. I mean, you grew up in LA. I grew up with 18th Street, Florencia, right in the border of Watts. I lived in Southgate, Huntington Park. That's right in the border of Watts and Compton. So yeah, bad, gang member. But I wasn't in gangs, but I hung out with a lot of gang members, and I knew a lot of them, and we just did a lot of crazy stuff. So, but it didn't get really bad till I moved to Miami.
What's the first thing you did in Miami?
What, bad?
No. How old were you, and what did you?
Yeah, I went. My parents moved since we're Cuban, right? So I'm Cuban. So they moved to Miami. Then my grandparents and everybody else moved over there as well. So I moved there. I had all my other half of my family over here over there in LA, yeah. And I was like, I want to go back. So I was there like 17, 18 years old. I stayed there for a year in Miami. Then I moved to Orange County, and then I stayed in Orange County for years. And kept on going back and forth. Now I'm here. I'm just set here.
Really quick, Bill Jordan just had a comment. The first day open, we did over $400 in sales. So already, Bill, the store's doing really well. Stephen could back me up on it. So I appreciate you trying to be negative, but we already are off to a strong start. And I just want to thank you for your friendship, Bill. So what is the difference? So was there a large Cuban community in LA, or were you more of a
No, it's so small. It's a small community. There's a place called Confronting that's in Huntington Park in Southgate, right? And our parents used to go there with a small community of Cubans that lived in LA. They used to go there on the weekends, right? On Saturdays, they used to make Cuban food. We were the kids running around. So we all hooked up with each other. So I pretty much know all the Cubans in Los Angeles, the majority of them in that area. Like, if you heard of Cypress Hill, I grew up in Cypress Hill. They're a buddy of mine, Melo Mayonnaise. It's his brother, Sen, and they're Cuban. They lived on Cypress Ave in Southgate, right in the block from Southgate High School. So yeah, those are buddy men. So we all grew up together, and yeah, it was a small community. But there's not a lot of Cubans there though.
So when you moved to Miami, which has a lot of Cubans, how was it culturally for you? Did you feel
kind of weird? It was kind of weird time for me because I kind of grew up with a Mexican culture, right? And not that kind of. I did grow up with Mexican. I prefer Mexican food than Cuban food. Okay. That tells you everything. Even my parents prefer it. Basically, with the way we grew up, So it's kind of weird because Cubans in Miami are a little bit different than Cubans in LA. So yeah, it's a little odd, but now I'm used to it.
Okay, so let's get to the fun stuff first. What was your first brush with the law, and then what did you kind of get into?
Uh, I didn't really get busted doing stuff with the law. went to jail for stupid stuff, not paying my ticket, getting a warrant for not paying my tickets. That's about it. I mean, I've been blessed, um, really blessed. I've done a lot of crazy stuff, and I started selling weed. Um, then from weed, I went to a little bit of coke, and I figured, man, if I get busted, I'm gonna do it all the time. So I kind of got out of the coke scene, went back to the weed scene. We know so many people in California. I flew out there with a couple of buddies of mine, um, and we just started pushing 200-300 pounds every 2 or 3 days over the mail. And I got into it there, and then hydroponics came in the scene, and then I got into the hydroponic scene, and that's really where that's my last, I guess you can say, venture. I really wasn't studying pills and none of that stuff, but yeah.
So you got pretty big into the weed game, and maybe I'm
yeah, I got big. I had about 12, 13 houses, grow houses in Miami. Miami, Naples, Fort Myers, Cape Coral.
Damn, what was your electricity bill?
We didn't have any. We tapped it. So what we would do is we would tap the electricity.
Yeah.
You can't, because we would put 20 HPS 1000 lights. So each light's 1000.
Is that enough?
So no, what it does, it'll blow your transformer first of all in your neighborhood. So
Correct.
so we would look at the transformers in the neighborhood before we would rent a house. If it didn't say 25 or up, we couldn't rent it because we'd blow it. We had from experience.
Yeah.
So when we have an electrician that we pay $1,500, $2,000, he would come. He would go under the actual panel, the outside meter, tap into it, make us a board inside the house with a whole new circuit board, and then we plug everything into there. So we would have just a regular bill. Yeah, you couldn't do it. You would get caught.
Yeah, because that's how actually they find grow houses.
Yeah. That and the AC units, having a second AC unit outside. What we did is we would put water cooled units inside, a water cooled unit inside, so you couldn't see it, and then we would dig a hole outside for the water, and that's why we used to run it.
How long of a run did you have in the weed game?
About 10 years. Ooh. 10 years. Yeah.
Did you stack your chips, or were you wasteful with your money?
Wasteful, man. Wasteful. It's crazy. I just blew everything. You know what I mean? I saved every once in a while. We try to save, but then I had a lot of bad deals as well. I had some crazy stuff happen to me as well. So I lost money, and it was crazy. But I didn't save money, no.
I'm assuming we're past the statute of limitations, right?
Yeah.
Let me hold off on my question. I'll leave that alone. All right. So you got in the weed game, had a good run there. What happened next? You got into business. I want to kind of build up your progression as to where you are now. What was your next move after that?
Well, what happened was, Tom, and I know it's probably going to bore some people, but it is what it is. I'm always going to be straight up. I was making money, and I was hanging out every day, doing coke every day, drinking beer every day, and like I had money in my pocket, always had money, and I felt like something was missing in my life. Like I felt like an emptiness. Like I got everything that I want. I mean, I wasn't paid like rich, right? Yeah. I mean, or none of like I have more money now than I've ever had. That, legit, but I felt like an emptiness inside of me. Like there's something wrong here, and so I called my ex-brother-in-law, and I called him and said, listen, he was a Christian. I go, listen, call your pastor and tell him to come to my house and to pray for me. And the next day I call him, and the next day he went out to my phone. He finally answered my phone. Oh, he's busy. I'm like, he's busy. So it's kind of like a turn off, and I'm like, oh, whatever. I just kept on doing what I kept on doing. But then like maybe 6 months down the line, I just couldn't take it anymore. I said, you know what? I said, God, if you're real, take this away from me. Like take what I do, what I'm doing, like selling drugs, doing drugs, drinking beer every day. Take it away if you're real. I just tried God. Like I just cried out to him to do it, And now, Tom, I'm as God is my witness. The next day, I quit cold turkey, doing coke that I was doing for like about 10 years.
Wow.
It just got worse and worse. and drinking beer. Like I went cold turkey. I had no withdrawals at all. Like that's what I'm telling you. I know God is real. No withdrawals, nothing whatsoever. And then I told him, you know what? Take, it's hard. So the only thing I knew how to do is grow weed and make money. I said, just take this from me, open up other avenues for me. And he took it away from me. It wasn't like that, but it's within 6 to 8 months or something like that. I was completely out of the game and and clean, and I've been clean ever since that.
So
I don't even drink. My wife drinks. I don't drink at all.
So you became a man of faith, and you obviously were unhappy with the trajectory of your life at the time. Was it one specific event that really pushed you towards being, a man of faith, or was it a gradual thing and then just one day you're like,
nah, my grandfather used to take me everywhere, and he was a man of God, and I think his prayers, from now that I know the word of God, I think his prayers and all that brought me to it. I always believed, supposedly, we say, oh, I believe in God, but we do, we can do whatever we want.
Did you grow up Catholic?
No, Christian now.
Still Christian, and then you became like more of a born again. Is that correct?
Because we say we believe in God, but until you really confess your faith and really believe in Christ, you're not saved, technically, right? So I truly believed, and then that's it, and that's what it was.
So how did your lifestyle change, or what did you do differently after you became?
I struggled, actually, Tom. I struggled. My girl had a job and she was working, and I tried to get a job. And what I was doing, I was always into tech. I was a hacker. So let me just say that I was a hacker. So I was always into technology. So I started buying and reselling phones and basically buying and reselling phones, right? And changing the launchers on them and customizing them and just making money like that. But I wasn't making money like I was making money back in the days, you know what I'm saying, when I was the easy money. But that's basically what I started doing. And then one day, I watched this YouTuber that was showing me stuff how to do fire sticks, right? Yeah. And I'm like, man, I like this guy. He's Cuban. So I reached out to the guy, and the guy was a big YouTuber, reached out to me, and we started talking. And some guy started it's just funniest thing, because some guy started bashing him. And I'm like, that's not cool. So I got my phone and I put it there, and I did a video on it. And I started getting so much love from it, from other YouTubers that didn't like the guy that was bashing them, that they wanted me on their live show. It's just crazy. Oh, wow. Yeah, it was just crazy. They didn't want to bash them themselves, but they wanted to use me as the guinea pig, basically, right? Later on, I find this out. And so I go on there and I just start talking, and I didn't know what name to use, and I used Touchtone because that's my hacking name, right? Yeah. So that's my main channel, Touchtone Architecture. That's my main channel that I use now, and I just blew up. Then I did my own magazine, and I know all the big time developers, and it was crazy. Like, it was just crazy. I had a push though from Solo Man, which is.
Well, I want to talk a bit about. Okay, we'll get to the YouTube part in a second. Yeah, a little bit of run in the hacker community. They tend to have a little fun and they do some crazy shit. That a lot of people can't do. What's some of the crazy shit that you witnessed?
The craziest stuff, LOD, Legend of Dooms, they're from New York. And then when I was doing all this, I was in Cali. Legend of Doom, they forward the 911 state of New York, a part of the state of New York, to 976 number for about 3 or 4 seconds. We used to build the red boxes, right? So remember you used to put a payphone, put in a quarter? Yeah. Right? So these red boxes at Radio Shack, they used to be like a phone book, electric phone book. You press 1 and you put your phone number and it saves it. So when you would go to the payphone, you would grab it, put it on the speaker, press 1.
It went by tones, not tones.
We just put the phone number. So we used to open it up and put a 6.5366 megahertz crystal in it, change the crystal, reprogram it. And we used to reprogram it to the sound of a quarter. So now, when they would tell you 225,
phone calls.
225, I would put the phone here. I would put the little thing, and I press 1. I would program it for $2 in quarters. It would just generate the tones of a quarter. Wow. So we used to do stuff like that. I know Captain Crunch, big time OG hacker. Kevin Mitnick, I know Kevin Mitnick. Yeah. Just all the big dudes.
Now, did you? So, for example, myself, I could barely touch a keyboard, but I have friends that are kind of into that space. Some
Yeah.
people on my team know a little bit of digital. I call them more digital forensic.
Uh-huh.
They're pretty good at it. Is it something you know how to do yourself, or it's more your peeps?
What? Learning the what? Learning what? I'm sorry.
At the actual part of hacking.
Oh, I learned it. Yeah. First, I was into phone freaking, and then and from phone freaking, I got social engineering. You learn social engineering, and I started hacking Fortel systems, PBXs, um, just how to make a red box, and just we used to do. I did cell phones. I used to do the cell phones as well, program the cell phones, ESN readers, just all that stuff.
What about for people watching? Things are crazy nowadays. What's the number one mistake people make that get hacked, and what advice can you give to them to prevent them from being hacked?
Don't put none of your information. Use a VPN. Times from when I was hacking to now is a little bit more sophisticated as well, a little bit different. And most of the guys that I know that were hacking are working for security companies now. They've been hired. They went to jail and they got hired by big companies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So mistakes. Don't make mistakes. Don't give out your information. When people send you emails, don't respond to any emails unless you know them. I have my sponsor that send me, like, every day. I have maybe 40, 50, 60, 70 sponsors that send me emails. I have an email specifically just for that. I know it's just for that, so you got to be careful, this online, anything online that's asking for this and for that to click, don't click anything unless you know 100%.
So somebody, Mr. Eyelight wants to know about the cartel stories. Any stories to share there?
So, yeah, I do got one. So when I was in Miami, I was programming. Remember the old Motorola phones?
Yeah.
I was doing the old.
Star Trek.
They had the small, the Star Trek. You had the Star Trek, the long one, the banana one. They had the skinny one.
Yeah.
So we had a machine that would slide it into, hook it up to the computer, change the ESN number, and reprogram the phone number. And it was a duplicate. It was duplicated somebody else's phone number. So I would charge. Yeah, I would charge $50 a month. Once it gets cut off, I'll reprogram it for you, right? So,
is this meant for people that didn't have the credit to get a phone, or is this meant for straight up illegal shit?
No. Remember, back in the days, if you make a phone call locally, it would still cost you money. It's like $1 or $2 a minute. Remember that?
Correct.
So the bills would be $200, $300, $400, $500 for any person. It was expensive, especially back then, right? So whatever. So I kept on doing that. I was doing it for a lot of people. And then what's the biggest cartel in Colombia? Who was the biggest cartel in Colombia?
Well, first it was biggest at the time was the Pablo, then Cali.
So Pablo Escobar, right? So Pablo Escobar. So funny thing, Pablo Escobar back in those days, right? There was just two guys that somebody turned me on to that I hooked them up with the phone, and I would do a lot of customers for him. And they said, "Listen, I'm gonna hook you up with my cousin." They hooked me up with his cousin, and the guy starts coming down, hooking it up, like bringing me a lot of phones. And he hooks me up with another guy, bringing a lot of phones. So to make the long story short, because I kind of want to use this on my channel, those dudes, right when this guy got busted, they killed him. They were doing a big crackdown. It's all over the news. They got this girl in New York, and they started going everybody affiliated with him in Miami with Pablo Escobar. Yeah. Well, those guys, later on I find out those guys, I have somebody investigating me parked across the street from my house. I used to sell a little bit of weed then. I was Mickey Mouse back then. That's before I got to the big weed. And I'm thinking they're after me. They're after me. I started flushing on my stuff. Well, later on I find out that it was the feds. What it was is they were investigating these guys because they're part of Pablo Escobar. They killed their family, their mother and their father. They tied them up with aluminum wires and threw them down the river. I find out from the guy that hooked me up with them. He goes, "Listen, don't talk to those guys anymore. They're hot." So they were being investigated, and the reason why I was being investigated was because I was looking up their phones, but the feds didn't know I was looking up their phones. They didn't care about that. The feds cared. What do I got to do with them? Am I part of a relationship with the drugs, with the cocaine? You know what I mean? And I had nothing to do with that, And I have to cut that short because I haven't seen that part for my channel.
Got it. And then when you were making real money as a weed guy, anybody ever shake you down or have to kick up for protection, or did you stay small enough to not get on the certain radar screen?
Yeah, nobody's gonna shake you down over here. You know what I'm saying? Miami's kind of like the Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
You know, everybody does their thing. Don't be too flashy because there's jack boys out there.
Yeah.
They'll rob you. I've had cops knock on my door. What else? I had cops knock on my door. I've had since I used to sell so much, I used to have other growers, friends of mine, that would bring me their work, right? And one time I had a buddy of mine that give me like 40 pounds, right? And back then it was at 3,500 to 4,000 a pound.
Yeah.
And he just give it to me on the arm, you know what I'm saying? I would go sell it, bring back 120, 140K. That was the norm back in those days.
Ready consignment.
On consignment, yeah. And they jacked one of my boys. They robbed one of my boys for it. Because I gave it to my guy. They robbed him for it. So we tried looking for the guys. We kind of got one of the guys. He ran, broke down his door, and that's basically it. You know what I'm saying? We never got the guys that lost like 120. I didn't even pay back the guy all the way. I had an old school Cadillac. I gave him my Cadillac, my title, because I'm a man. I'm a person too. Also, listen, if I owe you and I'm wrong, I'm gonna pay you. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's in payments. And back then I was kind of starting, so I didn't have the money like that.
Yeah.
So I ended up paying little by little. My other partner, the one that lost it, helped pay, and we just squashed it. But yeah, that was probably the only really bad problem that I ever had.
So you seem like a guy who put a few bucks together, right? And for those watching and try to figure this out, how'd you make your money?
YouTube.
So your money, that's what I was trying to figure out. What did you do kind of offline, and what did you do in YouTube? Okay. So what was your first? So you were the guy that responded. You got onto YouTube. How did you blow up your channel? What kind of numbers were you looking at?
So yeah, I have videos that have over 1 million views on them, easy.
Hold on. What do you make on 1 million views? Like 4Gs ish?
I don't know. You gotta look it up. It depends. Back then, the CPM, you know what it is. It goes up and down. So,
yeah.
But it doesn't matter because you continue to make money. I still make money off those videos. You constantly still make money off those videos. Yeah, you still get views on them. You know, you still hot videos. Some are relevant, some are not, but people still click on them. So, I started with the YouTube thing, and I started getting sponsors, and sponsors started paying me to do videos, sending me product. Then I did a magazine with the biggest YouTuber in the scene was Solo Man. Back then he was the biggest. Everybody wanted. That was my buddy, right? Which was Cuban. He was Cuban as well. So we started doing videos. He started hooking me up, pushing out my name. You know what I'm saying? So I started blowing up. So I started getting more sponsors, and then I just started charging for videos. A lot of people wanting streaming. We did a magazine together. We put a magazine for a few issues.
Was it a print magazine or was it online?
A print magazine. It was called Streaming Underground magazine.
Shit.
Everything. I had a bunch of sponsors there as well. A lot of developers that got on there as well. I know a lot of developers, like the biggest developers I know. They're good friends, especially over the pond. A lot of guys grew up in the UK and stuff like that. So I started pushing the magazine, and I started charging for videos, for live TV videos, stuff like that. And we charge, depending how much, we charge $5,000 a video, $10,000 a video, because they make a lot of money. We didn't realize it at first.
What type of audience would you get for $5,000? Meaning, if you got paid $5,000, I'm guessing there had to been at least 20,000.
Sometimes you get an affiliate link, right? You get a percentage.
Yeah.
And you can make more. It depends how many sales you make. If
Correct.
you do 100 sales and $20 a month, and you make 20% on that, whatever, you make the math. But people wanted us to do videos like hot, like all the freaking time, that we had to turn people down. So me, Solo Man, and a bunch of other YouTubers were doing that. And a lot of guys were coming up to me, and they were just telling me, hey, hook me up. And I would tell them, look, I got this guy over here. I would take a piece off the top, pay them as well. And yeah, I mean, just between sponsors and that, and investing my money into businesses as well, which I don't want to talk about. But everything legit, on the up and up. the other business that we invested in, and yeah, it's pretty much it.
So the reason why I wanted to have you on, because it's funny, I got a email today when I announced it, and the email said, I'm not gonna mention the names. I don't want to knock anybody. There was another. Hold on. My daughter's walking by, so I might have to go non-face for a second. It was like, wait a second, Tom. You had Sammy the Bull on. You got some pretty big names. Why the hell are you having this guy on? And I just responded. I said, Nikki intrigues me. And the reason why you intrigue me is you kind of came out of nowhere and kind of splashed into the small little space, if you will. You know, and I kind of find it fascinating. Why did you pick? I gotta get the camera off. Why did you pick? Kind of, you're doing well, you're making money, you're making it legitimately. Why did you kind of pick this space?
So I'll tell you how it happened, right? So I Touchstone Tech Trends is my main channel. That's my baby. That's where I make my money. That's where everything's at. I have 4 channels in total. So I have 2 other channels as well. I'm not gonna mention the name. Yeah. They do great. And then I have this channel. This channel was my wife's. This channel was my wife's, okay, which was Nixie. She was doing tech review, right? Yeah, doing great. Huh?
Tech review's big. I got a friend. He has 3 million subs. He does a lot of the kid stuff, the 3 a.m. challenges, and he is hiring somebody just to do tech reviews because it's that big.
Yeah, well, my Touchstone Tech Trends. I stopped doing videos for about 8 months on that channel. My last video was a month ago, and I'm actually in the studio now doing videos. I'm back on track. What happened there was I have a German company called Age. They signed me. They wanted to sign me. They weren't looking for me for a long time. I have an editor now because I have so many videos, different channels that I can't edit all my videos, right? So this guy is even a bigger YouTuber than me, right? But he's a good friend of mine. He's out in Germany as well. He's the one that convinced me to sign with the company. I signed with the company. I didn't want to do it. They only do a 4-year deal. They want to fly me out to Germany, this and that. I finally did it, but I told them I'll do a 1-year deal because I had a bad feeling about it. So I did the 1-year deal. They had me on. They were paying me more, so I wasn't with Google AdSense anymore. They were paying me more money, but they wanted me to do videos when they wanted to. You got to do it right now. We need it tomorrow. I don't work that way. So I told him, look, just get me off the contract. He said, well, if you get off the contract, you have to pay us. But I said, oh, it's like that? I just won't do any videos. I don't need to. I can live off. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So I stopped doing videos, and then I waited till the contract was over, and I'm back. Now, saying that.
How much did that content, that must have cost you a pretty penny. How much did that you can give a range if you want. How much did breaking that contract cost you?
I would say about 50, 60, 70,000.
Ooh, that's a sting.
Yeah, for a year because between the sponsors and that, at least that, maybe even more.
So you could compete, and then you were able to start filming again once it was up.
Well, my contract's over, so I started filming again. I did one video about a month ago, and now I'm moving studios. I'm getting a new studio. This is a studio that I hooked up from another YouTuber that I put on, and I'm using his studio. It's not even my studio.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we had the Nikki Blade one, right? So the reason I say that because some people say, "Oh, well, you haven't done enough. You bought subscribers." No, listen, I got a plaque. Listen. When you're verified,
you can't fake a plaque and verified. I saw that.
Well, you can fake the plaque, I guess. You can buy one again.
That's super weird then. But
but you can't get verified by YouTube. But check next to your name. You can't do that. That's only official YouTube. So we got the Nikki Blade channel, which is the Mixie channel. I'm doing so much other businesses that I'm involved in, right? That I can't do it all myself. But I have staff and I can't do it. So I told my wife, I said, you know what? What do you want me to do? I said, just take care of that and we'll just forget about this channel. So we wiped out the channel, took out all her videos, but I shouldn't have done. I should have put them all on private. But whatever, wiped them out. And fast forward to now, I saw a video of John A. And I'm like, this guy's a liar. This guy, I don't know anything really too much, but I know whatever he's saying is a lie. You can just tell, right?
So just out of curiosity, why did you believe that?
Because when he does that video with this guy, like says, I did this, so he starts naming names, and I broke this guy's back, and I shot this guy, and he's not Italian, and he starts saying stuff like, they called me down for a sit down. I'm like, wait a minute, you're not Italian. They're not gonna call you for a sit down. I mean, they're just not gonna do that. So he was just acting like he was one of the main dudes, you know, this guy's full of crap. So I started searching videos, and I saw a couple, now that I call clowns, doing videos on it. And I'm like, oh, cool. I'm not the only one that believes this. So I said, maybe I should jump into this genre, because after a while, I was like, I should jump into it and give my opinion on this. Yeah. And it took me a while. I've been so busy. 7 months later, I said, there's a clown on there, 2 clowns that are just ridiculous. I said, I got to bash these guys, because somebody's got to set these guys straight, because one guy has 4,000 subscribers, the other one 3,000, and they think that they're the bomb, like they're it, like I'm YouTube, and that's a joke. I mean, coming from where I'm coming from, these guys you don't even notice anybody with 20,000 subscribers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I have to tell you though, it's not on this channel. My #1 video to date. I produced it. I you don't hear me on it, but I produced it. Is my A-Light video from 15 with 300,000 views. That's my #1 video. Then my second one is Sammy with about 200,000 views.
Yeah, so yeah, it gets views, but my intention wasn't that. I'm making money over there. You know, it's not like come over here, oh, I need to get rich now, more money, make more money. No, that was my intention. So I told Nikki Blade, I'm not Nikki Blade. I told because Nikki Blade's the name that, first of all, Nikki Blade's just the name we made up.
Of course.
You know what I mean? They said, you know, this guy that we know that was alternative dude, me and SoFlo, he would say, hey, I'm Nikki Blade, catch the wave. Or some, you know, like a real alternative would make fun of him. I said, I'm gonna call myself Nikki Blade, just to say, you know, and that's where that came from. And I told SoFlo, you like all this stuff, bro. You know what I'm saying? He's got to, you know, and I put him on the tech game. He has his little channel on the 2,500 subscribers. I said, you want to come down here with me and let's put these guys in place? He says, let's do it. And that's how it happened. Like people say, oh, you're coming over here. Like this one clown had 4,000 subscribers say, FBI says, you're using my name to check. You can't give me anything. You can't help me. You have 4,000 subscribers. What can I get? All your 4,000 subscribers? Now I have 116,000 subscribers instead of 111. What's the difference at that point? Once you reach that level, there is no difference. You know what I'm saying? So I started bashing and started doing these videos, and that was pretty much it. But I didn't do it to attack people to give fame or none of that. I'm already popular in my other channel. As a matter of fact, a lot of people already know me from here and say, wow, what are you doing on this side, on these videos? You know what I'm saying?
Are you known as Nikki Blade in those other communities, or are you known by another name?
No, I'm known as Touchstone. That's what everybody knows me from, Touchstone. Okay. That's it. Everyone knows me for Touchstone. Nobody knows what the hell Nikki Blade is. It's a name we just made up. But they know who I am, and they know the Nixie channel was my wife.
Yeah.
I pop up here and there on her channel. They know that's my wife, and you know.
Now the only thing though is I get it. So like even for myself, I got my 1099 from YouTube, and with splits and everything else taken out, it was like a hot dog in a hallway. It was not meaningful revenue wise to my company, right? So I do it more as a hobby, and I'm gonna probably take it more serious because I'm getting a studio and stuff. But because it's your core business, when you do like a channel to roast, or you do this 3rd channel or 4th channel, and you kind of dig people, and you don't do it for the money, isn't there like opportunity cost? Because you could be making money if you were putting that content in another channel. Are you giving up a little bit, or is it about principle for you? I'm trying to get the motivation.
I'm not giving up, because first of all, this is a different genre. So those guys over there are basically not going to come over here. You know, you'll have some, but small percentage, right? So it's not affecting the other channel that I have another one that's tech as well. What happens is I do the full review on the product, right? So once I do the full review on the product, I do an unboxing as well, right?
Oh, wow.
So that unboxing, a lot of people just want to see an unboxing. So what I did on my other channel is just an unboxing video, just an unboxing. So once I'm done with this video, right, I'll just, not this one here, but I'm talking about when I do a tech video, what I'll do is when I edit it, I'll do a second video. I'll just edit, I'll put a different intro for that channel, and I'll say, get ready for the unboxing. And it just shows an unboxing. None of the talking, what do I think about it, me putting it on, just what comes in the box. So it's an easy video. I don't have to do an extra video So that's why I did that one. And then the other one's a streaming one that has to do with this, but it gets a lot of views. So it doesn't affect me either way, you know?
So for somebody watching, and this mob genre space is really low and there's really not a lot of money in it. What do you think the max cap is? Because I got an interview at Daily News. I was on with the reporter Larry McShane, and he interviewed us about our old show. And at the time, there was Sammy, Francis, A-Light, and then the show we had, NBA and Button Man. And he was asking me from a business perspective, what's the max cap for a non kind of, national wise guy like a Francis, like a Sammy? And I told him, I said, Francis got a lot of his viewers actually from the Christian space, and Sammy's international, right?
Right,
so
right.
I said the max cap is probably about 500,000. You see Sammy's kind of coming in at that, and he's slowing down a little bit. So I see the max cap at 500,000. So I said, realistically, unless you're as big of a name, the max cap for the smaller creators are probably 50,000, right? That's my guess. I want to know what you think. And number two, 50,000 subs are not a lot. I don't think you can even make a living off it. So what is your thought analyzing the space? Because I know you're a smart guy and you probably analyze the space. Are my numbers kind of correct, or am I way off?
Kind of, but here's what the deal is, though. A lot of people have this wrong. A lot of people think that the subscribers is what matters. It doesn't matter. There are YouTubers. Listen, I'm a big fan of this YouTuber called Ray Bans and Fedora. I passed them up. I should be at 800,000 subscribers. I'm not, because I've let my channel just go because we're doing so much businesses, making money, that I kind of neglected it for a couple of years, here and there, off and on, right?
Yeah.
So, and I've helped out a lot of YouTubers that went from 10,000 to over 100,000. Friends of mine that is verifiable facts, right? So, but I know YouTubers like Ray Bans and Fedora or other YouTubers that had 10,000 subscribers, but were getting 100,000 views, 50,000 views. They're making money. There's YouTubers that have 200,000 subscribers that are getting 200 views. It happens, right? So they're not making any money. What would you rather have, 200,000 subscribers and 200 views, or 10,000 subscribers and 50,000 or 100,000 views?
Yeah, I agree.
So
the views that count.
And the majority of your subscribers, the majority of your viewers are not subscribed.
Yeah.
Did you know that? How would I get a million? How would I get a
43% of my viewers are not subscribed. That's correct.
How would I get a million views on my channel on a video when I don't have a million subscribers? You see what I'm saying?
Let me ask you. So one of the things in this space is little controversy about like buying subs and buying views and that kind of stuff. But I'm not talking, and that's a black hat stuff. But as a digital marketer, when we have an account, we actually encourage them. I don't personally, because I don't have the budget for this, because I don't make any money on this channel. But some people will put some into advertising, like the Google AdSense or Google PPC program, and buy views that way and target them and whatever. They'll pay YouTube. It's white hat. It's above board. Do you like that as a strategy when you launch your channel, or
no? I just put social media. I just put social media. But listen, there are people. I'm gonna give you an example. The guy I started arguing with when I first started YouTube. Remember I told you this guy was bashing Solo Man, so I did my first video and everybody loved it. His name is Omi the Hellcat. Okay, you can look up Omi the Hellcat. He's at 700, almost 800,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Omi the Hellcat doesn't have 800,000 subscribers. He knows a lot of football players and a lot of rappers on his videos. He has big YouTubers on there. The tall guy, but just a bunch of. I know a lot of big. I know Mr. Beast. I know Roberto Blake. I know Daryl Eves.
Hold on, time out. You know Mr. Beast?
Yeah, I know Mr. Beast. I met Mr. Beast in LA at the first YouTube convention, and with Daryl Eves, which I know as well. He's the one that created the whole thing. But going back to that, what was I saying? I just got
kind of going along the lines.
Of what?
No, you were. I thought you were going down the lines of it's about views, not subs.
Oh yeah. So what he did was, Omi the Hellcat did was, he only had 18,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
He started buying subscribers. Within 6 months, he went up to 700,000, right? He bought them, and he bought views. Wow. So what happens? He's not making any money off the YouTube thing, right?
Yeah.
So what happened was, what he did that was smart, and listen, I don't have no problem with people doing it. I'm not here to judge anybody. I can care less what you do. But what he did was, he got the eye of big YouTubers. The norm is this. A YouTuber with 100,000 subscribers would never, how many subscribers you got?
About 10,000, almost 11,000.
I would never come on a channel with 10,000 subscribers. Wouldn't do it, because to them it's like you're going backwards. Why not go forward? To me, it's different. First of all, I don't. This is another channel. It's not my touchstone appetite trends. It's a different genre, right? To me, I don't care. I'll go on anybody's to help on anybody because I feel different about that. I know the way it was when I was coming up, right? So what he did was, he bought subscribers and he bought that, and the big YouTubers, right, over 100,000 subscribers, 200,000, 500,000 started seeing him, right? They said, "Oh wow, he's got 700,000 subscribers." He reached out to them and they collabed.
And that's
just like that. Just like that.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. I've been pretty fortunate to get some bigger names, especially in the mob space. I think it's because the vertical small. But number two is I also I'm like a true podcaster. I have my iTunes as well, and I do pretty well on there. It's actually a higher ranking show on iTunes podcast, and I ranked on Spotify once. So I try to do different channels, not just YouTube, because I want to give a different perspective. And I've been pretty good about guest acquisition for a smaller channel. But I know what you're saying. I've also gotten turned down by some people because they felt it wasn't big enough. I also own 2 magazines as well, one of which, well, they both do, aggregate to Google News and one aggregates to Apple News. So some people, I'll make a deal. I'll say, hey, if you come on the show, I'll do some press for you. I'll get them into Apple News, or, press release is worth $1,000 or whatever it's worth. So sometimes you got to finagle your resources to get people, to come on when you're a smaller channel, of course.
Yeah, but if you buy some subscribers now, for example, and just buy them just for the look, and then you try interviewing somebody, you most likely you're gonna get the interview. You see what I'm saying? What happened with Omi the Hellcat is he did that, and his name was targeted 1080p before. Well, he did that, so now he does get views, maybe 100,000 that are real views, 200,000 that are real views, because he got all those people, those big YouTubers, to come on his channel, and he got a lot of subs from them. Yeah. So he doesn't have the real 700,000 subscribers, but he's got now real views. So it's a strategy that he did. If you can afford it and do it, whatever it is, what it is. It all depends on your thing. So.
Now, I'm going to ask you this and get your opinion on this, because I think this is going to come near and dear to yourself now and a lot of the viewers. So, again, I'm not a YouTube expert per se. I'm more of a digital marketing expert. So, as a result, I have some good YouTube experience. People get on me. Some people say, you should have a lot more subs. I do it all organically. I don't buy subs. I don't like to buy traffic. So I do it organically. That's my hobby, But my point being is, but I have clients that have big channels that have nothing to do with the space, totally separate, and they do pretty well, and that's how we get them clients through digital marketing and SEO. But the thing is, the playbook for normal social media, right, is you get into the space, you collaborate, you work together, you help each other out, and then you grow, right? That's right. How you grow, or you put somebody on under you, and then they grow, and then they move out, and then you wash, rinse, and repeat, right?
Right.
My thing is, I was by myself, and I was around 3,000 subs. I had a partner brought to just south of 7,500 subs, and then we disbanded, and then I picked up another 3,000 subs in about 4 months. My point being is, when I kind of got into the mob genre arena, I was going on the shows, and I was getting to know people, and I was trying to help people, and I was hoping they would help me. And it's the antithesis of logic. You go on a show, and then the next day they talk about you, or you help somebody out, and then they motherfuck you, or you try to collaborate with somebody, and then they collaborate, and then they're on a show the same day talking about you. My point being is, the mob genre is the antithesis of what you should be doing. Nobody collaborates. Nobody works together. There's fighting, there's drama, and
Yeah.
it gets pretty ugly. Give us kind of like what the normal YouTube world is like, and give me what your experience is so far in the mob genre.
Yeah, so on my channel, I have collabs. All right, collab with Stream. I've collabed with Review Dork. I reviewed with a bunch of other YouTubers.
Yeah.
We're a community. You should be a community helping each other out.
Correct.
You know, and the mob genre, the way it should work is we all should be hooking up with each other. I interview somebody and throw them your way. Hey, listen, Tom's a good reviewer. Go to Tom and Tom, look, I got you with this guy. Or maybe you just call me up and tell me, hey, Nikki, can I interview that guy? Can you hook me up? That's the way a community works. We help each other out. You're not going to lose. I'm not going to lose my subscribers to you. The only thing that would ever happen, people are afraid of that. They don't want to help each other out because, oh, I'm going to lose my subscribers. No, your subscribers will go over there and sub to them, but they're loyal to you. Most subscribers are loyal. They're going to stick with you. They just have different channels, right? So you should work as a community. Let me tell you, I'm not saying this because I'm on here with you. When I came on here, I said, there are two people, and I never told you this before, you can verify. I said, there are two people that I want to work with, and no disrespect to anybody else.
Yeah.
You were one of them.
Wow.
Okay? and the other one was Jeff Nadu.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the chat.
And I'll tell you why Jeff Nadu, because Jeff Nadu is well-spoken. I know you guys think whatever, well-spoken. He knows about history. The most history that I've seen anybody talk about when it comes to the mob genre. So I said, I would like to have this guy and work with this guy. We've talked, him and I, it's funny that we've talked, and you're one of them. And look, you reached out to me, you want to put me on. And the reason why is because you're a professional, you got the voice, you know how to talk, and you know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So I want to work with people, and everybody should want to work with people that are professional. And you can have all the drama and all that, but when it comes to your channel, it should be professional. And I'm guilty of that now, not being professional right now, because I've done those videos on FBI and these other clowns, but those will be wiped out. And I have a lot of interviews and a lot of good stuff. Cause I know a lot of people, I know a lot of, listen, I know a lot of, everything I talk about, if anybody wants to fact check me, they can. I know a bunch of NBA players, right, that are friends of mine. All this because of YouTube. They came to me. So I got a lot of interviews. I know UFC fighters, top 15 UFC fighter right now that fights in the UFC. I got a lot of hookups, you know what I'm saying? A video just came out last week on where lives die or something like that. It's like a crime show, right? On Prime. The show just came out. That buddy there is that guy there is my friend, a really good friend. I grew up in Southern California. So I have a lot of content, but if people were smart, instead of arguing with me or you or Jeff or each other, we should be getting along with each other and say, forget about all of the bull crap.
Correct.
Let's hook up and how can we make this community better? How can we make each other money? How can we help each other out? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what it should. But in this genre here, it doesn't seem it's like that. It's like, it's crazy, man. It's super crazy. And that's fine. But I know that you're not gonna fall into that. You might get into discussions and that, but on your channel, you're gonna keep it pretty clean. On Jeff as well. I know he is as well. And anybody else that's willing to do that, I'm willing to work with, you know? I don't care how many subscribers you got. If you just open up a channel and have 2, I'm down to help you out, man. I'm down to come on your channel, it don't matter. Or even have you on my channel.
Well, that's what I naively thought. So for example, again, just because I've been podcasting for a while, or connections or relationships or clients, I'm pretty good about getting my guest acquisition. That's probably one of my stronger strengths, I believe. But with that being said, is if somebody came to me and said, hey, I want so-and-so guest, I'm an open book. I'm about collaboration.
Yeah.
But people will do that and then be like, oh, by the way, can you get me so-and-so? And they'll be like, oh, they're not doing interviews now. They'll make up some excuse. So I found the collaboration level low. So listen, you're my guest. You're in the house right now. I think Light is in the background, and he's been, I think, pretty rough on you. Do you want me to let him back, or do you want to decline respectfully? I'd like Magelio, if you come on, bro, you got to be respectful. Nikki's on our team. Can I have him on for a second, or you prefer not?
Yeah, sure, why not? Go ahead.
Magelio, how are you, buddy?
What's going on? How's everything going?
Good. So first order of business. I know you've been getting on, and Tony's not here, so we don't want to talk about him. But I know you've been getting on these guys a little bit. In the interest of peace, let's talk it out, and then let's get back to business. You know what I mean?
Happy 420.
Happy 420. True. I typically don't participate in those activities, but nevertheless, for those that do, God bless. So, so Magilio, I think you were pretty hard on Nikki. Did you learn a little bit more about him today? And tell us, what your thoughts on the interview so far.
No, I didn't learn nothing. I think it was all BS, if you ask me, in my opinion. But who am I to say something?
We're not going to get drama, but why do you think?
Well, I personally never heard of him. I'm from New York City. My guys from Miami never heard of him. And I don't know. It just doesn't seem valid. The views don't seem valid. The number of subscribers don't seem valid. But I could be wrong. Not saying I'm right.
So let me just, it's real simple. Like, no, I'm not here arguing or disrespecting or trying to fight. So it's pretty simple. If you go to Touchstone Appetite Trends, you'll see my other channel. And that channel, you can go back to history and see how back my videos have been. Since what day I've done my videos. So it's been years. It's not like a video that you can say, well, this guy did videos for a week and he's coming over here saying that these are valid. You know what I'm saying? They've been there forever. And in the community, you can ask people in the community. I can give you tons of not that I have to explain myself or anything like that, but since you asked, or you said that maybe they're not valid, they could be. So I'm gonna let you know. You can always verify it with people like that. You know what I mean? Only the Hellcat's a big YouTuber. Review Dork is one. I Trust is one. There's New Tech Evolution. These guys have been around for years. They can all verify who I am.
Also, Magellia, there's some tools that are paid tools that you can get, other bigger than Social Blade, that can validate it. I haven't validated Nikki, but again, if you
this channel here, right here was not my channel. This channel here was my wife's channel. But yeah, my real channel, which is my main channel, 1 out of the 4, is Touchstone Architecture, which is very verifiable. Not only that, you can't buy a check mark.
Correct. You can't. You need 100,000 subs, and you can't buy it. It's weird if somebody fakes a plaque, but you're generally not going to fake a plaque. And on top of it, it's the check mark that comes at the 100K. You can't buy subs, it can't be fake, and that does validate as well. That's why they do the check mark. So again, I'm not expecting you to co-sign everything, but in terms of and I don't think that's a flex. People are going to run around and throw around. Well, I'm a YouTuber. No, for the most part, I think he's representing himself correctly.
Yeah, Tom, I'm a broke guy, bro. These things are above my pay grade,
I don't count your money or anybody's money. You know that, brother.
It's not even about money, man. Listen, it is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and argue. I mean, you asked a question, so I gave you the answer. You know what I'm saying? You want to be cool, we can be cool and just squash it and move on, bro. It's not worth the argument for you or for me, in my opinion. That's just me being humble. Me being humble, just saying, it is what it is.
Oh yeah, no. You just know, like, the way that I grew up, my guy. We're not really cool with like guys that say they're from the streets and they start platforming people like Jimmy Calandra, bro. That's not acceptable. Like where I'm from.
So I am from the streets, but I mean, I'm going to verify that. You know what I'm saying? That you can always just say I'm not, and I mean, there's nothing I can really do to prove to you that I am. You know what I'm saying? So, as far as Jimmy Calandra, what do you mean by that?
Nah, your partner, he was platforming Jimmy Calandra.
Oh, yeah. But listen,
I don't see how a guy does time in prison when I've definitely done time in prison and co-signs a guy like that. That was kind of strange to me, man.
So check this out. He did 22 years, and that's going to come out because he's going to put all his information out there. But saying that, I understand what you're saying. Definitely understand what you're saying. A lot of people are against it as well. But MRE's against it. Chicago Muscle against it. But do you know that I'm on Chicago Muscle side and MRE side, and I spoke about it in plenty of live shows, and I've defended them on my boys show. My boy's been my boy for 30 years. Like, you know, if he wants to do that, who am I to say what? You know what I'm saying? I could say things behind closed doors and tell them, yo, this and this and that. But everybody's their own man. You know what I'm saying? So
So what?
I can't speak for him. I understand the frustration of people. I do definitely understand that. You know what I'm saying? But you have to understand me, bro. I'm me. You know what I'm saying? All I can tell you is whatever I tell you is the truth. You know what I'm saying? And I defended people that don't like him or he don't like them. You know what I'm saying? And I've been on his live show arguing with him about them and saying, no, they're good people. They got facts, this and that. But there's something I can do. Huh?
School stuff. What do you think happens when a guy, let's say a guy goes back to the penitentiary? What do you think is gonna happen if, I'm not trying to be funny, but what do you think happens if these guys in the can, they have phones, of course, illegally, and they start seeing like, hey, I would be scared if I went back to the penitentiary and they're like, oh, Madge, we saw you hanging out on YouTube with, let's say, the likes of Jimmy, the likes of whoever, any of these.
I get it. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but again, I'm me. I'm not him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I can't argue with you now and tell you, bro, you're wrong. Like, you know, how dare you? I can't do that. I'm not him. You know what I'm saying? He does what he does. If they violate him or whatever it is, and he's the one's gonna worry about it. You know what I'm saying? I can't speak for him.
Yeah, and Magelio, I was on Tony's show. I won't speak for Tony. Roberto, I totally understand. So Nikki said he's okay to come on. Fair discussion. But Nikki separated himself from that. He openly supported MRE. He openly supported Chicago Muscle. And, you know, and Tony's his friend. So they're friends, but they disagreed. So on that thread, Magelio, he hasn't platformed anybody on his channel. And he openly supported those two guys. So, you know, from that perspective, if that's your beef, I think you could squash it because Nikki's good in that perspective, you know?
But that's up to you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Don't be convinced. I don't want you to be convinced by Tom telling you to do this and this and that. That's whatever you believe, bro. You know what I'm saying? I respect either way.
Yeah, no, I was just curious about that because.
Yeah, and I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it.
And I was actually on Tony Slow Flows today, and I get a lot of heat because you and I, you know, we're friendly. And I say, listen, you and I, you know, I don't agree with all of your content, right? Karen's a good friend. I didn't like that. And I don't like some of the other content. And I told you that. But the same token, we're both men. You do your thing, I do mine.
Yeah, and listen, I came out.
It's kind of like that. I'll never tell you what to do. That's your decision, right? But I just maybe not watch or may not support. But we're still friendly. We can still talk. You text me, you call me. And it's kind of like that with Tony Soflo. They're good friends. And
wait, who says something about Karen?
Her daughter. So I thought
you said Karen because I was gonna say that was my friend Jeff. He said that he would take Karen down. I didn't agree.
I'm just saying. Listen.
Oh yeah, open. No, you know she's a young, attractive lady, and we're young men.
No, I get it. I just think on that one he took. Listen, with all due respect, I just think on that one he took a little too far, and some other ones. But here's my point: it's free speech. You're welcome to say what you want. You're welcome to do what you want. Doesn't mean I have to endorse it. You know, we're both men. You do what you want. I'll do what I want. You're welcome to come on my show. You're welcome to speak your piece. I'll always be respectful to you. But I may not disagree with some of your content.
Of course. But you know, for PC purposes, but I remember like Jeff was talking about that too. Like we're in our 30s. We're younger guys. Like we're not gonna find a woman to be hot like that. I don't see how that would be out of line.
Again, you're welcome to. But what I'm trying to illustrate, Magelio, is that
you don't agree. I get it. So you don't have to agree.
But not that. That's Nikki and Tony. Tony may not agree with his content, right? But that's still his boy. You know what I mean? So like, you know, so at the very least, I'd like to at least kind of squash this part of the beef. He's a man of faith. He's a good guy. He came here on his own volition. When you know I had you on in the waiting room, he could have been like, "Fuck him, don't put him on." So you know, again, could Nikki deviate tomorrow? Possibly, but for right now, he's more than okay in my book. You know.
Okay, I could understand. I could dig it.
So, but anyway, I'm gonna get back to the interview. Magelio, thanks for coming on, and I appreciate it.
Yes, sir, man. You guys enjoy your night.
All right, bro. Be blessed.
Bye. So, you know, I try my best to keep an open forum. I get a lot of shit for that because I try to get multiple sides. I try to listen to different point of views. I don't want to leave it up to the viewer. I just can't endorse, you know, his certain content. I just can't. And I'll tell him. So, you know, and I think that's justifiable. You know,
it's all good. It's all good.
You know. Okay, so YouTube now. Did you kind of start making money off YouTube, and did you roll that offline, crypto businesses, that kind of stuff, or did you roll that back into YouTube? I want to get your kind of portfolio.
I got some investment in crypto and other stuff. I don't want to say the other stuff because there's John here, and you know, but I got, you know, you should invest your money. Personally, I think you should invest. Don't put your eggs all in one basket.
Yeah.
You can invest everywhere. So if one fails, you're good at the other. You know what I'm saying?
Well, so I try to mix it up. I do probably about 80% mob or mob related, 20% business. I'm going to start doing more and more business because I'm just getting over some of this mob stuff, to be honest with you. But in the business space, it's the antithesis, right? Meaning, oh, I'm doing this business. Here's what it is, and here's what you should do. Or hey, I'm investing in this.
Yeah,
hey, I'm investing in that. Doesn't it, like, it bothers me? Doesn't it bother you that you can't be transparent? Because if you do mention a business, 4 stupid reviews will come up. Like, this is what I can't wrap my head around the small mindedness of some people. Why is it like
them bashing you for it?
Well, I'll give you an example. I had a pretty big interview lineup, a big name, and he's still gonna come on. I'll tell you afterwards. He's still gonna come on. But he told me, he's like, well, somebody reached out to me and told me not to be on your show, and I'm like, why? You know? And he's like, well, they said you're a bad guy. I'm like, how so? He's like, I don't know. They just said you're a bad guy. Like, it's weird. I've never seen this type of kind of
hatred towards people. Yeah, I get you.
Like petulant behavior, and there's like a lot of vapid people. I've never seen that. I'll give you an example. When I do a business show, again, I disclose as much as I can so the viewers could learn, they could prosper, they can maybe take this stuff and put it into their own lives, right?
Right, yeah.
So like in this space, I'll say, oh, I own the deli on the corner, Joe's Deli in Union, New Jersey, and then 3 bad reviews will come up. Why do you think that is? Is it just this space or a lot of other spaces like this? Because I don't think they are, to be honest with you.
There's you got hatred in different spaces, but in different genres. But I think this one's kind of wild, man. It's like really wild, and I think that the subscribers are more involved in this genre than any other genre. You know what I'm saying?
I'll give you an example. I was talking to a guy similar subs as me in the 12K range, right? And I just asked him. I'm not as good on the mod. I owe Yankees for life a wrench, but I'm not as good on the moderator thing. I'm a big free speech guy. I try to let people say what they want. If you're super out of pocket, I'll just put you in timeout or whatever. So I'm a little bit more flexible. I don't put a lot of stock in the wrenches, right? I just don't personally. It's just my ethos. I think I have in B, and I'd like to get Yankees for life back. Carlos when he comes in, just if you're just a moderate, right?
Yeah.
But I go to this other person, like, what do you mean wrenches? Well, moderators. He's like, we don't really have moderators. I'm like, why? It's like, well, we don't need them. We do our live streams. It's like kind of a gaming site. You get a wise ass here and there. He goes, they don't even have moderators. They don't even have wrenches in other spaces because they don't need them. Meanwhile, in this space, you need 7 of them just to prevent you from fucking getting abused.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I got moderators, but the moderators I got have been there for a long time. Like, I just don't. Over here, I see that everybody just gets moderated, let everybody moderate pretty much. And that's a dangerous thing because you have people that don't like other people and say they see you on and they'll just kick you out. But you might get along with the person and it makes you look bad. So you got to be careful with that. I just wouldn't let anybody be a moderator.
De Benedito, Edwin Chow, how are you, sir? Edwin Jimenez, good guy. So okay, so let's kind of move on a little bit because I want to go a little bit deeper and unpack. So you're making some money on YouTube. You start investing into other stuff, right? For a guy to come like yourself, or a guy that's growing, give us your outlook on where to put your money now, where to invest now, because the economy is not great, inflation's high. You know, for somebody to get into YouTube and do what you did is going to take 10 years. Let's call it what it is. The algorithm is a lot harder and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so my point being is where are you placing your bets now from an investment standpoint?
If I were people, I would put money in coins, and that's where it's at. And the coins is where it's at right now. I mean, it's dropped. Bitcoin, all these other coins have dropped so much that if you go into the lower ones, the small ones, and invest money, pretty much all of them, cover the spread. It might take 2, 3, 4 years, but when they hit, it's gonna hit hard. Example, not this January, the January before. If you would have invested $1,000 on Shiba, you would have been almost a millionaire. You would have had about $850,000 for $1,000, right?
Yep.
So a lot of people became millionaires like that. I remember when Bitcoin was at 2,000, I didn't buy it. I was like, oh, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Imagine if I would have bought 20 coins, or, you know what I'm saying? So there's money in that. But just there's money in mining now as well. If you mine, depending what you're mining, what miners you use.
Yeah.
Back in the days when Bitcoin really came out, they had those mining. They cost a lot of money because of the heat, electricity. It was basically one coin. It wasn't so many coins out there. Now there's so many coins. You can mine so many different ways. Cheap, $500 you get a miner.
Arbitrage. Some people do the cheaper coins, and then they arbitrage.
Yeah, Ethereum, for example, Ethereum. If you spend about $4,800, you can make right now the coin's down. You can make about $1,000 a month for $4,800. It's not a bad investment. You make your money back in 5 months, right? But when the coin goes up, you're gonna make so much more. So imagine if you duplicate that. I know everybody can't do that, you know, or afford that, but you don't have to get that miner. You get other miners for like $500. They make about $300-400 a month. And as you go, buy another miner, get a setup. So there's ways of making money. It's just having the time, invest the money, and do a lot of research. Do a lot of research on YouTube.
What about yeah, because I personally I wasn't prophetic on it. I did not get involved with crypto. I left it alone. I felt I would only get involved with crypto unless I saw the utility. And I see the utility, but I don't see the utility being used. So that's why I didn't get involved. I kind of missed the boat on that. What about passive investments? You own any do you do any passive investments where just mailbox money?
Well, I got money. I got investments in property and stuff like that I make residuals, and I got other money in invested in other businesses. I don't want to mention the names because you know this genre.
No,
but,
which again,
yeah.
when I transform over to a business channel a year from now, we could be more open. I still don't get it. I don't know. One guy put a bad review on another guy's site. I don't know, man. It's fucking weird. You know, if you ask me. All right. So talk a bit about investments. Are you married, or you know?
I'm married, bro. I'm married and happily married, and I got kids, and yeah, I got a great family, man. My family's number one.
You're a man of faith. Is your whole family of faith, or is it more?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
As a man of faith, right? You know, now you have to live differently, right? How do you get rid of those old habits? You stop doing drugs, you stop doing that kind of stuff. When you get
listen, the word says, and look, it's not about what you do. When you're saved, you're not saved from smoking, and you can be a Christian and have struggles, right? When Christ takes it away from you, he takes everything. You're born again. That's the whole reason you're born again. It's a spiritual thing, right? Nicodemus goes to Jesus and asks him, he's one of the Pharisees, goes, hey, I believe you. You have to be, you know, because only the stuff that you do can come from God. He goes, what must I do to enter the kingdom of heaven? Christ says, you must be born again. He said, born again, how can I go back into my mother's womb? He was talking spiritual. You can't understand fleshly things in the spirit. So saying that, once you're born again, spiritually born again, God will remove those things from you. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have Christians that continue to curse and struggle with that. Christians that smoke and they still struggle. Doesn't mean you're not saved. You know what I'm saying? You're not saved by your works. You're saved by your faith. I'm not perfect by no means. You know.
Well, what about when your faith gets challenged though? Like really challenged, like a fender bender, somebody coming for your family. How do you deal with that?
Well, I'm strapped all the time, but that's because I'm from the streets and I'm not, you know, and I don't have a record, so I have a concealed weapons permit. So, look, like I just spoke to Highlight. You know, I could have got my old school days. I would have been screaming at him and telling him off and say, "What's up?" I did it. You know what I'm saying? Treating him with respect. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he's a bad guy. You told me. Actually, I'm gonna say this. Bay 8, I think it was Bay 8 that told me he's a really good guy. Yeah. And he told me some stuff about him that I'm like, what? That I didn't think that would come from this character. So, you know, you can't judge a book by its cover. I treat people accordingly with respect, and you know, I might act crazy online and doing my videos, but it's because you've really pissed me off, and like FBI. You know what I'm saying? Besides that, like you get threaten my family, I'm gonna defend my family. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. But, you know, I forgive anybody, man. For real, I forgive anybody. There's nobody I hate, and I'm being honest about that. Even FBI, I don't hate them. I don't like them. Would I ever forgive them for something? They just say I would. Of course I would, but I wouldn't talk to them anymore. He's different than an Highlight or somebody else. You know what I'm saying? I can see myself talking.
How so? Because I want to understand that.
Because I'm gonna give you an example. I don't want to, you know, no disrespect to Highlight. Highlight was saying whatever he was saying because we were going back and forth and saying stupid stuff, and I was saying stupid stuff, whatever, right? But I didn't ever heard him wishing death on people. For example, this guy wishing death on people, a slow death, and like that's just a wicked heart, man. You know what I'm saying? That's just a wicked heart. Now, for example, he was telling me that before. He said, I'm not going to mention your name. He would mention SoFlo's name that has 300 subscribers. He wouldn't mention mine that has 111K. He's afraid, obviously. He doesn't want to mention my name because I come to the scene, I'm like, what? I was the biggest in this little genre. Now this guy comes over here. Oh, heck no. Now, supposedly, I didn't even look the video. He just did a video on me and saying, you want my attention? You got it. Now he wants my attention. Now that I'm on your show, I'm on everybody's show. He talked about Babe. He got mad at Babe because Babe talked to somebody that he was enemies with, right? Well, what's his excuse now? We talked to Jimmy, right? We're on the show. I respected Jimmy. You know, SoFlo's his friend. What's the excuse now? He's not gonna talk to Jimmy. Now it's what? Is it because he's got more subscribers and you don't want to lose them? You know what I'm saying? He's a hypocrite. My point here is just a hypocrite. You know what I'm saying? The hypocrite, which is bad on people. He wants nobody to talk about his wife, but he puts his wife on the show, and his wife is cursing people out. Like you just can tell the quality and the caliber of person he is, and that's the worst of them all.
Let me ask you this: I don't regularly watch a show, and you know we don't really get along. But in fairness, just like me, he's been hit pretty hard from multiple creators, and unfortunately, you know, by hook or crook, and I believe he does have his wife on fairly often. They came after his wife pretty hard over a period of time, right? Yeah. That's, you know, I don't know if, again, because I don't regularly watch a show. I'm not one of those guys. I don't watch it, but I watch it. I really don't watch a show on a regular basis. I'll pop in here and there to see if he's talking about me. But my point being is, I believe she might have shot back because she was getting dogged on for a while, and then it just kind of came to a boiling point. I'm not justifying it. I wouldn't, you know, but I think that could come into play. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I disagree.
Okay.
Because the way she talked, she could have just shut her mouth. And the way she talked nasty to people when I seen the video. And I've seen him with her on the chat previous to all that happening. She's on there. So, You don't bring your wife to listen. Your wife is not in this interview. Because if your wife is in this interview, I guarantee you, you would get a lot of crap from all the people that hate you of your wife. So you're smart. You don't involve her in that, right? Unless you're ready to take it. That's what happens there. Same thing. What does he expect? People have to talk about. I'm not going to do that. I was raised better than that. I'm not going to disrespect his wife at all. By no means, no matter what she says. But other people are going to do it. You know, and now he wants the attention. Now we ran him off. We came in here. We ran him off. He doesn't like the truth, but we ran him off. He's not even getting views. People are not paying attention to him no more. Now the biggest thing now is SoulFlow, me, and all of us doing our thing now. That's where it's at. Now, that's not me. That's not me saying it. Those are just facts. Now he wants my attention. The guy's he's double-minded. You got to be careful with double-minded people, man.
Good point. I know, and I got to give it credit. I am not that I'm a big show, and not that trust me, not a big deal. But I am fairly selective on who I interview because I don't have a lot of time these days. My wife's 8 months pregnant. I have three other children.
Congrats.
You got 3 other children. Businesses to run. Yeah, I pop on SoFlows during the day a little bit because that's when I work, and it's like to pass the time between meetings if I don't have anything scheduled. But you guys made a pretty strong impact, or yourself and have made a pretty big impact in a very short period of time. So kind of before we wrap it up, what's next for Nikki Blade, your channel, and what you got going on?
Big interviews, and my interviews are going to be different. The editing, the way we're going to do it, it's going to be entertaining. At least I hope it is. You know, that's what we're shooting for. Me and my editor. It's going to be pushing some good stuff, some good content.
Are you planning on doing long form interviews like this, or a little different? What's your game plan?
So I'm going to have another channel with just clips, right? And I'm going to have my main channel, which is, well, the Nikki Blade one, right? So I'm going to do interviews, basically interviews, but they're going to be pre-recorded interviews because there's going to be a lot of editing in it. You know what I'm saying? We're going to make it exciting. You know what I'm saying? Somewhat exciting. So we're going to do a lot of good stuff.
Am I big enough to
listen? Listen. When I said you can have 100 subscribers, I meant it. I don't look at that. I look at the caliber of person who you are. You're welcome to be on there. I already talked to Jeff as well. I'm going to work with Jeff.
Nice.
He's knowledgeable. I want to work with anybody that's knowledgeable. You know what I'm saying? That can help me out, and I can help them out as well. It's a two-way street. You know, even if you don't come on my show, anything I can help out, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing that I won't do. You know, to help you out. Which you know that I can help out.
Let me ask you this. I like to have people on, so I like to get free advice. As you can tell, I'm just a little over the mob genre. I interviewed 7 made men, countless associates, dealt with death threats. Here's the funny part. I never got any issues from the mob itself. It was always from people online. And it's exhausting, and it's not worth it, to be honest with you. I love every person who's watching. I respect everybody. I was on Tony's show today. A guy was coming at me, respectful towards him, respectful towards everybody in every walk of life, right? However, I'm a busy guy and I'm getting busier. So if I pivot my channel, right, part of my concern is a lot of my business content doesn't do well. If I do a mob video, boom, 5,000 views. I do how you can make $1 million guaranteed. And like guaranteed, it'll get 500. What recommendation do you have for me to kind of pivot my channel successfully?
Don't stick to your mob. Stick strictly mob. Don't listen. Don't invert 2 channels with one. I have a buddy of mine that did that. No matter what I told him, he kept on doing it. It was just less views and less views. Finally,
you said, so for example, if I want to do another thing, either put the mob stuff all on one and do business on this one, or opposite, do mob on this one and business on the other one.
Mob on this one because you have more subscribers, and then do a new channel just for your business, and let that grow organically. And if it grows, it makes it. If not, you have this as a backup. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Don't mix both. It's just not a good thing. What I would do is the business ones that you have here, I would download them, open up your new channel, upload them over there, and hide the ones you got here and put them on private.
Is that considered fresh content?
What?
if you do that, is that for the when you put it on private and give it a day or two and then re-upload?
Well,
That,
no. What you do is you unlist it or put it on private because for the algorithm, you can't get rid of the video. You know, it's gonna mess up the algorithm. So
no, you make it private or unlisted on this channel. It's
download
downloaded.
the video,
Yeah.
re-upload it on your new channel, make a new intro for it, and just edit it. In the beginning, just put. Well, no, it's a business one. You don't have to edit it. Just grab it, download it, and repost it on the other channel, and keep on posting everything you had there just to start it off, and then start doing fresh videos on the other one.
Now, I'm considering, because I do have one sponsor. Check out JSV Capital, Loans Without the Broken Bones. They're a good sponsor for the show. They do business financing. And I'm thinking of taking on some more sponsors. I'm thinking of doing a studio. But I'm like, the business end kicks in. And like, I like once I approach my channel like I do the rest of my business, it's going to be really serious. It's going to be even more serious. Not that you're not a serious guest, but you know what I mean? Serious guest and that kind of stuff. But the economics, I'm struggling with the economics for a studio. What are your thoughts about that?
So what are you using right now? Where you're at right now? That's your studio, right?
I use my house, which is, my regular house where I have my desk and I do my work.
So do you have a room or no?
It's part of my living room.
So, but you don't have an extra room, do you?
We're putting an addition on the house.
So yeah, I would dedicate. You don't have to do a lot, man. Even if you just do where you're at right now, I would change the background, but it's your living room at the same time, so it's gonna look weird. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it all matters, man. When it comes to sponsors, and as you get bigger, it does matter. The visuals are a lot. Like people look at this and they're like, "Wow, this guy's in the studio. It looks good."
I was thinking of buying a building, and then because I'm getting more involved with real estate, buy a commercial building and just carve out a small office and a studio, and and wouldn't cost me much because the rent roll. And then getting, again, now with the studio, doing person interviews, most of the people either from New York or from the area, get them car service to come in. And I have the relationships to get bigger names. The problem is I don't have the traffic. I don't want to approach somebody that's like, that I know, and like they could do me a favor, but it's kind of disingenuous. I want to do it when it's correct, but I kind of feel like I want to wait for a studio, but then like I talked about, I'm running the numbers and it doesn't make financial sense,
Yeah, I mean that you can rent an office space and do it in your studio. There's many ways, you know what I'm saying, but it will help you out. And once you do that, you'll take it more seriously as well.
Good point. What do they call? We used to call it rent pressure. Once you got to pay yourself rent or pay the mortgage, the pressure comes in. You find a way. So, all right, I appreciate you having on. You've been a gentleman. I wanted to kind of hear your story. I appreciate you sharing as much as you have, because in this space, I know it's a little tricky. So I do appreciate that. So I'll give you the final words before we conclude.
Be safe, man. Take care, everybody. Everybody take care.
Awesome. I really appreciate it. Everyone, anything that's sold at the store. So Nikki, I opened a store. I soft launched it. And on the first day, 9 hoodies were ordered. The first day, before I went to friends and family. And we already sold like 15 units of stuff in a week. And we just launched it. So I soft launch. I really actually just kind of announced it today and one time in the community. So we're starting to sell some merch. And the merch is going to go towards the studio if we do it, which we will. But
there's a lot of money in merch. There's a lot of money in merch, man.
Yeah, and I work hard. I have a Cash App. I don't solicit it too much. I'll get a Cash App here and there. I'll get a PayPal donation. I picked up a few clients from it. One account's like a $30,000 a year account, so that's pretty cool. You know what I mean? So I'm monetizing in a different way.
Yeah, you can even do a GoFundMe for if you want to do a GoFundMe for your studio. But my suggestion for you is, if you do something like that, make sure once you get the money, it goes direct to the studio and everybody sees it, because people are
Oh,
really
no,
thinking about it.
I'm very. Trust me, we did a fundraiser in December, and I did everything direct. I did like I'm like, you know, because everything's an LLC, even my AdSense, everything's an LLC. So I don't
Yeah.
want to get any money that I don't need to, because it's income. I got to pay taxes on it. So if I were to do that, yeah, I would have the accounting and say, hey, here's what comes in and put it towards that. I don't know if GoFundMe could be the right play. I'm just trying to find a way to monetize, and we'll talk offline, because that's kind of something that
Yeah.
I'm on the fence. Like, I got to be honest. I'm like at a crossroad. I know I can do a great interview, a long form interview, and I have relationships and I have the resources, right? But I got to run it like the rest of my businesses. And if the Armchair MBA had a P&L, it wouldn't be as strong as my other businesses. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
what do you got to do to get there? So maybe on your channel, we could talk about that.
For sure.
So, but I do appreciate you coming on. If you have any last minute questions, put in the comments, respectful questions only, before we wrap up.
Yeah, I'll answer a couple questions. Somebody put there, do I buy 50% of my subs? I think I already answered that.
You know what it is? People try to control the narrative before you do. That's why I kind of have you on. Thanks, Mob Talk Podcast. I'll check out your podcast. I'm not familiar with it, candidly, but I'll be happy to check it out. I'll give people another 30 seconds or so. The Yankees won, so that's good. Can you send link? I show how my setup is like armchair. We're gonna wrap it up. So if it's cool, email me Tom at New Theory, and if you want to send me a photo of your setup, I would love to see it. And then take it from there. Mob Podcast just started uploading. Email me Tom at New Theory. I'd love to check out some of your stuff. Let's chat. If it fits, I'd love to have you on. That's the other thing, Nikki, too. Again, somebody was like kind of getting on me, like, well, why are you having this guy on? Why? I'll have, like you said, I'll have somebody with 100 subs, or somebody who is quote unquote nobody, but I can learn from, and our viewers can learn from, and we'll have some big names on, because you want to learn from them as well. It's all about, it's all about learning.
Well, yeah, look, if somebody tells me that, because obviously they don't like me. And look, you're going to interview tons of people, and I guarantee you, in every interview, there's people on the chat that's not going to like that person. That's okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, they want to not do that, then open up the channel and do your own interviews, I guess.
Exactly.
You can't pay too much attention to that, people. You can't take that, it's whatever,
Yeah, I hear you.
So nobody hears more stuff than me, Tom. Nobody hears more stuff than me. I have SoFlo as my friend, so you can imagine what I hear all the time.
I like this from from Dylan. Also, the spiritual order of life: God and Christ, Christ over man, men over women. We got to be careful with equality, and women over children. The spiritual order of life is an important principle. But
that's the order. That's the order, yeah.
I never listened to it before, but I like what I hear. Honestly, cool. Thank you. If you're referring to me, great. Ketamine fiend. Sorry, has a picture of a cat on top of it. Cool. I think we did good tonight. Nick, we'll probably have you back on. You're a friend of the show. You're a friend of mine now, and I appreciate you, man. And I appreciate you being on the Armchair MBA.